Hey guys, it's Christy, and I'm back with another card reading. I use these readings as a tool to invoke, deeper questions and expand our experience. So I hope you enjoy the message. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, we already got our first card. I've got some incense lit, and it's a beautiful morning here. So we are going to draw from two Law of Attraction decks today, our Mystic Manifesting Oracle deck, and today I'm drawing a card from Affirmations for a Badass. And at the end of the video, I will talk about a journaling prompt that we can use. I'll remind us of our affirmation from the Oracle card and also suggest a meditation contemplation. So, that we can put some practices in place that are based upon the message that we received today. So our first card says, I can focus specifically upon what I want. I love this card. I can focus specifically upon what I want. I think that's a good place to put our focus. Here's the card. And the message is, you are bombarded by thought stimulation. And so, unless you give your attention to what you specifically want, you can be influenced by that which surrounds you. That's our reality. And it takes up a lot of our attention because it's right in front of our face. So they're saying, oops, sorry about that. I had to go get our oracle card. They're saying you're bombarded by all this stimulation around you. And so unless you are deliberate about focusing your attention on what you specifically want, then you're going to be influenced by that which surrounds you. Unless you are focusing on what is important to you, you can be stimulated by others' thoughts, which may or may not be important to you. That is an important distinction because, the vibrations of other people can influence us if we are not stable in our own vibration. And that's what they're pointing out. And they're saying, to be on your path and getting what you want, your focus needs to be on specifically on what you want, because there's a lot of stimulus in our environment. So I think that's a great reminder for us to take our attention from what's out there and place it on what it is that we want specifically. All right, so let's expand. From the Ask and It Is Given deck, we got a card that says, this is so perfect. I am rediscovering the art of allowing my natural well-being. So they're telling us this is how we're going to take our attention from what's around us and from others' thoughts and intentions. And we're going to rediscover our own art of allowing our natural well-being. Here's the card. We call this discipline the art of allowing. It is the art of allowing the well-being which makes up every particle of that which you are and that which you come from to continue to flow through you as you continue to be. And I love the idea of flow. I really love practicing flowing with life, because when we are not naturally allowing the flow of life through us and around us, then we're in a resistant place. And it's more tension in that place than in the space of allowing. So when we can sit back and be easier about things, have more fun in life, and be able to, I guess, expect the unexpected is kind of where I'm going with this, then we're more open to what life has to offer. We aren't stuck in that rigid, okay, things have to be this way in order for them to be right. We get to flow with life and receive things in ways that we didn't even think were possible, or that we were blocking out of our vision because we think that things have to be a certain way. So when we can broaden that and allow our natural well-being, then we're more able to focus on our specific wants, because we can't focus there if we are not allowing life to offer up the well-being that is our birthright. So our oracle card is Answers Revealed, which is another direction, another way of us allowing our well-being and allowing ourselves, because it says sitting quietly with spirit helps you find the wisdom you need. So it's literally saying I can focus specifically upon what I want when I am allowing my natural well-being. And how am I going to allow my natural well-being? I'm going to sit quietly with spirit, because that's what helps me find the wisdom that I need. And our affirmation is Spirit Speaks in Silence. So they are literally directing us to be in silence, whether that's meditation or being out in nature, sitting and reading a book quietly, having a cup of tea and just being and allowing yourself to feel good. I cannot overstate the importance of feeling good. That's the natural state of well-being, is us feeling good in our bodies, good in our lives, and being able to accept the imperfection of our lives. That's part of the allowing, because contrast is going to come in. It is what shapes our lives, because when we have contrast, or what we call problems, then it makes us have to think of the solutions. And the solutions are what we want. And you cannot, I've heard many times, you cannot find the answer while thinking of the problem or the question. So if you're thinking of the problem, then you are not in the space of being able to receive the answer. But when you rediscover the art of allowing, then you can be more in the space of the answer more of the time and focus specifically upon what you want. So their encouragement to, sit quietly with spirit and gain that wisdom is where you reconnect with the art of allowing. And that is where you feel your well-being. And then you could take that out into your life with you. And it's so funny because our affirmation for a badass says, I have a kick-ass life. And so I feel like, oops, I don't think it's seeing that. There we go. I have a kick-ass life. And so to me, what this means is to continue that appreciation, expressing appreciation. And if you watched, I forget what the video was called last week that I did, but the universe gave us a 30-day challenge of intentionally intending every morning for 30 days. And the assignment, so to speak, was to sit down and write out things that we appreciate every day for 30 days. And we intend to see what we want to see in those days. So I would be interested to hear if any of you are doing that. I know I've been practicing every day. I've been writing down my things to appreciate. When I wake up in the morning, I say, I intend to see what I want to see. And I think that this affirmation, I have a kick-ass life, is reminding us to express that appreciation and remember it every day. So I love this message. I think that a good journaling prompt would be to ask the question, what about my life makes it a kick-ass life? That is a great place to start. It could be small things. It could be big things. It could be anything that you feel is kick-ass in your life. Write about it. Journal about it. That'll give you a great start to feeling a sense of well-being. I think when we focus on the things that are good in our lives, that's the gateway to that sense of well-being. That's the art of allowing, is by recognizing what's good in our lives. So, and then our affirmation, remember, Spirit Speaks in Silence. Remember to carve out time every day to sit in silence. It could be 2 minutes. I used to sit in my car on my break and do a 2 minute meditation if that's all I had time for. Sometimes I'll meditate for 45 minutes or an hour. It just depends on what you can fit into your life. But find time to sit in silence so that you can hear from spirit. And that's another way to tap into that sense of well being. And then I think a good meditation, let's see, a good meditation would be to rediscover the art of allowing. Imagine yourself, get very comfortable by closing your eyes or blurring your focus, or gazing, like at a candle. And deep breathe until you feel totally relaxed, and then allow your breathing to be natural. I always recommend that. I know you probably get tired of hearing it, but allow your breathing to flow naturally, the way that we should flow with life, or the way that we would like to flow with life. And then imagine yourself laying in a field of flowers, much like this card. And you're laying in the field of flowers and maybe gazing at the clouds above, watching them float by. And then all of a sudden, the sky clears and it's just blue. And you suddenly see an orb of light. And it could be any color. Just you allow the light to show its color to you. And as you're gazing at this light, it's getting closer and closer to you. And as it becomes closer to you, you start feeling a warmth and an ease. And you could smell the beautiful grass and flowers around you. And you're feeling this warmth. And before you know it, you're completely absorbed in the light, so that it is flowing through you and around you. And you just feel so relaxed and happy and free. And you're just allowing the light to flow. And you just stay there as long as you can. And when you come out of your meditation, take that feeling with you as far as you can into your day and see what results you gain from this meditation. And let me know in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers, guys.